John with Fathom Realty and
Mike Remington with Benchmark Mortgage.
thank you so much for joining me today and answering some questions about loans and what's going on in the world. So
You bet. My pleasure.
I'm so glad we figured out this technology. So number one, I want to start off with asking, how is COVID-19 affecting loans?
Yeah, so, amidst the COVID-19 even started, we were in the middle of a pretty significant refinance boom. Rates have been low since the beginning of the year, and so mortgage applications have been really strong since well before COVID even was ever around. I'd say dating to the probably beginning of the year is when we started to see rates come down, mortgage applications coming in. At the time, still purchase money applications still low, and applications were still coming in. We did see a little bit of a knee jerk, I think, and a little bit of a lull in the market with the purchase money applications. Those did slow down, no doubt about it. I'm sure you probably saw some of that on your side as well.
Yes, but y'all were awesome. Even through this, y'all, we shifted several and we've closed several different types of products. So speaking about that, what types of loans are available? Because I know that you've helped my clients with different types of products.
Yeah, I mean, for the most part, just about every type of loan is still available in some form or fashion, but I will say there's a little bit of a strain on certain products. The jumbo market is really thin right now. I guess you could say a lot of, very few investors in the jumbo market on the secondary side or on the wholesale side. You can probably find it at some of the banks, but that's one area where we've seen a lot of banks kind of just tighten up or just not even offer it. For now, anyway, it's probably a temporary thing. A lot of the banks are focusing on some of these PPP loans and stuff like that, and haven't made just mortgage their primary focus in some areas. But for us, we're a mortgage banker. We only do mortgages. But the jumbo loans, anything above $510,000 in our area, is considered jumbo, and there is very limited options out there in the jumbo arena.
Okay, that's great to know. And
USDA is still available.
Excellent.
Conventional, really no tightening of any guidelines on conventional. The one area that I'll say that we've seen a little bit of tightening on also is some of the government loans, the FHA loans. They're some banks are requiring higher credit score than usual. Some banks are just really kind of tightening up in that area altogether, much less not just credit scores, but maybe overlays on just the standard guidelines. We are still doing FHA loans down to 620, which I think we're probably one of the only, probably the few out there that are. But we're looking at them case by case scenario, making sure that it is a really strong buyer regardless of the credit score. And it's kind of done by credit committee at this point for some of those lower credit scores.
That's great. And we are seeing a lot of first-time home buyers. They want to get out of the apartment, get into a house. Are there still programs available for those first-time home buyers?
Absolutely. For any first-time home buyer with really good credit that can do a conventional loan, they're not going to see really hardly any change at all. Even in some of the down payment assistance programs that are out there for first-time home buyers, those are still out there and still available. And especially on the conventional side, we're seeing very little change there. Again, if they're a low-score FHA and they need that down payment assistance, that's where we see a little bit of, like I said, tightening. Not that you can't do it. They're just going to look at those a little bit closer and a little bit higher requirements on some of the overlays and the guidelines.
That's great. And one of my favorite types of loans that y'all specialize in is the veterans loan. We're working on one of those right now. So is there any changes on that? That's it.
No change for us at all. We're very passionate about the VA loans, the veterans in general, and that space for us is very near and dear to us. So that's been no change at all. And for us, it's like, it really is one of the best loans out there. It's the easiest to underwrite. The veterans have earned the right to not have to put money down if they elect to, and we do everything in our power to make every VA loan work. I don't know if some of the other lenders have tightened up on the VA space at all, but that's one area we probably will not.
Yeah, I know.
We will do those. If the loan makes sense, we will absolutely do those loans every single time.
That's excellent. So if you know any veterans who are renting, I've had so many who come to y'all and y'all been able to get them out of an apartment into a house. So that's a great thing. A lot of people have been asking me, should we refinance now? Would it be better to refinance or buy a house? What's the differences between the two?
I think now that since kind of the shock is over from all this COVID stuff and maybe some folks that were on the fence on maybe selling and purchasing, I still think it's a really good time, to be honest with you, as long as you haven't been significantly affected by all this and your income is not, impacted. It's still a really good market to sell and buy a home. Rates are low, but there's still a lot of buyers out there. There's some inventory out there. If you were thinking about buying or selling, and we're just a little bit impatient or maybe just a little bit panic about the whole situation but haven't been affected by it, I say absolutely. If that's something that you had your mind on and have been considering, now's as good a time as ever. Rates are low. There's buyers out there. I think if you want to purchase, if you want to sell, it still is a really good time. On the flip side, if maybe you're on hold and maybe going to wait at least a year and a half or 2 years, then I would definitely consider looking at refinance options if you haven't already. Somebody that comes to me that asks me about a refinance, the first thing I ask them is, are you looking to buy or sell a new house, or sell your house or buy a new home in the next year or two? And as long as they can commit to staying there, a couple of years, a refinance will make sense, whether it's maximizing savings or maybe shortening the term. Everybody could probably benefit in some form or fashion from a refinance if you haven't done so in the last 12 to 24 months.
That's excellent. I know some of my clients who bought a year ago refinance with you, and they saved a lot of money. So it was a big help, and y'all did a great job on that. Final question. I thank you for your time, and I'm so glad that y'all are joining us. I want to keep y'all up to date, but everybody asks, and I know this changes, so we may have to do some updates, but interest rates, what are those interest rates?
Yeah. Again, interest rates are really low right now. Almost all-time lows. I've been doing it 18 years, and I've seen rates this low once. But not for this long of a time. So, rates started like on a 30-year loan, we were in the high 2s, low 3s before the pandemic started. Since the pandemic, rates have fluctuated and been really kind of a roller coaster and just kind of up and down. And there's been not a lot of consistency or a lot of it's just been super volatile, really. I would say in the last 2 or 3 weeks, we've seen the most consistency in those rates. And like a 30-year loan, good credit, you're going to get a rate right now probably in the low 3s. And I don't see it or anticipate it going up or even down for that matter anytime soon. I really don't. I tell people, even if you are looking to sell and purchase a new home maybe in the future, even if it's the next year or two, but the house you're currently in, you're going to retain maybe as a rental property in the future, still worth looking into. The only time I wouldn't recommend it is if they absolutely are sold on selling that house in the next year to year and a half.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of people looking, people still buying, and y'all are doing a great job with your loans. I appreciate your team. Y'all never quit. Benchmark is great, and so appreciate that. So hopefully,
we're thankful for you and for all our referral partners. So we appreciate you guys so much. And one other thing I'll hit on those rates. I always give 30-year rates. That's the most popular one, but you can get a 15-year rate, in the mid to high 2s right now. And a lot of people are electing to go that option. The equity play on the 15 years is as strong as ever.
And the ARMs?
ARMs, I would say there's probably not a huge difference in the rate between an ARM and a fixed right now, just because the rates on the fixed are so low. There's not a huge demand in the market for an ARM. When you can get a fixed rate as low as you can get now, the risk to taking the ARM is probably just really not even worth it, to be honest with you. I wouldn't say it's not an option at all. We're just not seeing a lot of ARM activity or even interest in the market right now.
And one of the things we're seeing as real estate agents is people are actually wanting that pre-qualification before they even go in the home. So if you're thinking about looking, connecting with a lender and seeing what your purchasing power is, what the monthly would be, what it would cost you to put down, that's a great way to get started. And from that, it really gives you the puzzle pieces to know what you're looking for.
Absolutely.
So thank you so much and have a great day.
All right. Thank you, Lucy.
Bye.